I'm going to guess that most of the people watching right now are either prospective college students, people in college wondering if it'll be worth it, or people who already graduated and are wondering if they just wasted all their time and money. The answer is a little complicated, but for the majority of people, the answer is still yes, you should go to college, at least according to the data. According to the Foundation of Research for Equal Opportunity, 77% of bachelor's degree holders earn a return on their investment over the course of their career. Now, you might think that this is skewed by engineers who make a lot of money, but even those who major in history, psychology, and even gender studies still typically end up with a net positive return on their investment. They might just have to work longer before they get a positive ROI. If we just left it at that, then of course the answer wouldn't be as complicated as I made it out to be. So let's do what we do in classrooms and add some variables to the equation. If we break it down fundamentally, what is college for? There are 3 reasons you might choose to go to college outside of your parents, teachers, and peers pressuring you into it. You'd go either for the experience, the job opportunities, or the actual thing that college was meant to do in the first place, give you an advanced education. Let's actually look into that last one first. The first institution for higher education in America was Harvard University, which was established in the 1600s as a way of training Christians to be clergymen in the New World. This trend was continued with the College of William and Mary, Yale, and Princeton, and it wasn't until 1740 when the University of Pennsylvania decided to offer a more secular curriculum along with the theological curriculum. Now universities are everywhere, and they're teaching everything from nuclear engineering to comedy. It seems like just about everyone is going to college for something these days. In fact, becoming a tenured professor is one of the most competitive jobs in the United States. That must mean that the quality for your education today is by far better than what you get in the 1700s, right? Well, no. At least not really. The education you get nowadays is basically just a checkbox. Rather than giving you individualized attention that provides a foundation for higher thinking, universities nowadays are just a reference check. They're there to tell employers, yeah, this student did everything we asked them to do, so we officially proclaimed them proficient in whatever their major was. All the universities care about is how many people enroll and how many people matriculate. This leads to a culture of exams, and in order to pass, you don't necessarily need to know the subject materials at a deep level. You just need to cram for the exam, and then you can just forget about everything you learned that whole semester. Do you think I remember anything I learned from my music civilizations class? Speaking of which, if you're looking to go to university to learn about something you care about, get ready to have a bunch of core competency classes that have nothing to do with your major. I can understand the idea of core classes. They expose you to a range of different subjects that could, at least in theory, help you see ideas from multiple perspectives. I've heard billions of people say that they changed their major after a core class made them fall in love with a new subject. I can respect the idea of using a university to learn lots of new subjects that you had no exposure to beforehand, but if you're paying several hundreds of dollars per credit, or more if you're a non-resident, then you shouldn't go to college without a full-ride scholarship. Universities aren't going to give you individualized attention or give you proficiency in any subject. Even accountants and physicians tell me that most of what they know, they learned on the job. If you really care about learning a topic, this is the greatest time on earth to explore what interests you. And most of the time, you can do it for free. We're living in the information age, which means that pretty much anything you want to know is right at your fingertips. YouTube, Google, ChatGPT, edX, Coursera, Udemy, and even your local bookstore are treasure troves of information that you can use at little to no cost. When I finished my bachelor's degree, I wanted to pursue a master's degree, but I couldn't justify the expense that came from getting another degree. So I decided that I would give myself a master's degree, and I wanted to learn as much, if not more, than someone who had paid tens of thousands of dollars getting their own diploma would have coming out of their program. And you know what? I did it. I wanted to learn neuroscience, not just at a proficiency level, but at an expert level. I went to university websites that offered master's degrees in neuroscience and looked at what topics students were learning. I looked at all the prerequisite classes that they expected to have coming in. Then, I created my curriculum. Cellular biology, chemistry, organic chemistry, biochemistry, physics, neuroscience, neuroanatomy, evolutionary biology, fundamentals of psychology, behavioral psychology, cognitive neuroscience, neurobiology, genetics, bioethics, addiction treatment, medical neurobiology, and this isn't even including the dozens of books that I've read on the subject that fill entire bookshelves. I can honestly say that the amount of knowledge that I've accrued in the topic puts the education I got from my bachelor's degree to shame. Because I was learning for my own understanding rather than studying for a test, I was able to stop worrying about my grade and start worrying about what these topics meant in the bigger picture. I was able to think of what these topics meant in real life rather than what I'd need to remember for my next class. Some of the information I learned has even made it into some of my videos, which has helped people in their own lives with struggles that they were going through. Yes, there are going to be people who know things about this topic that I don't. No, I can't put it on a resume, seeing as how Red Jaren University isn't technically an accredited institution. But I got what I wanted out of it. A real education. I now have an in-depth knowledge that goes beyond what I would have learned at many different universities. Still though, I think the resume part is a big deal, so let's move on to that next. The second reason you'd want to go to college is the more practical reason. Getting a job that requires a specific degree. Again, getting the degree doesn't necessarily mean that you learned anything from it, but most employers don't actually know that. In fact, for some professions, you need the degree in order to practice that specific vocation, such as nursing and engineering. If you want to be a CPA, sucks to be you. You need to go to school for that. You want to be a lawyer? Sorry, but in most states, you need that piece of paper in order to practice law. You want to be a physician? That'll take both getting a degree and doing some shady stuff that would most certainly get me demonetized. Now, do you need to get a degree in order to get a good job? I know a lot of electricians out there that are going to tell you that they make 12 figures because they went into trade school right out of high school, but it's also worth noting that college graduates still earn more than most tradesmen on average. You really need to decide for yourself whether you'd rather spend the next 4 years sitting in a classroom crying into your student loans, or risking electrocuting yourself while you're wiring some guy's pool. If you don't know what you want to do with your life and you're just going to college because it's supposed to be the next step after high school, maybe take a year doing something else before you jump into all those student loans. Trust me, college will still be there in the future if you decide that you want to go later. This one is pretty straightforward, but if you're really just looking for an air-conditioned job where you have a stable income, I'd recommend going into nursing, engineering, education, accounting, or finance. Now, let's say that you've looked at all the practical reasons not to go to school, but let's face it, a lot of you still want to go. Some of you have been dreaming about it for years despite you not even knowing what you want to study. You might be experiencing peer pressure, but you might also want to go for the experience. And I don't want to minimize that desire. Lots of people will say that their 4 years in college were the best years of their life. They got to experience dorm living, they got to go to football games, they got to wear their team's color or mascot. They were part of a larger community that was at least marginally exclusive, and this isn't exclusive to the time they spend on campus. This can become part of your identity, something that money can't buy. You achieved something. You have a trophy that shows 4 years worth of work and effort. You get to attend a graduate ceremony along with the people who are struggling right beside you. It's a community, and this isn't something that should be dismissed just because of the price tag. Funnily enough, this isn't something that I got from my college experience. I hated the school that I went to. I'll never wear my school colors or go to any of their football games. I just went because it was the closest geographical institution of higher learning. But I still recognize that for a lot of people, this is an opportunity that you'll never get anywhere else. Is college a scam? Yeah, it is. But that doesn't mean it's not a scam that can work for you. If we're being honest, part of the reason why college graduates typically earn more than those without degrees is because they're more motivated. If you have the drive both to get into college and graduate, that says a lot about your character. Even if you think you have the drive without the piece of paper, there's no way to prove it without actually doing it yourself. I'm not special by any means, but most people would never follow through like I did while earning my fictitious master's degree. That's the nice thing about college. You're not doing it alone. You have peers, upperclassmen, and faculty who are all in this journey with you to help you succeed. And that work ethic will continue with you into your career. Going to college isn't for everyone, but I hope this video helped you figure out whether it's worth it for you personally. Okay, that's it. No, wait, hang on. Hit the like button. Okay, I think that's really it this time. Toodles!